Hey everyone, today we are diving deep. We're going to get you a toolkit for having much better, much more productive conversations, the kind that don't just skim the surface of a problem, but actually get to the bottom of it.
You know that feeling, right? It's so frustrating. At work, at home, wherever. You feel like you're stuck on a hamster wheel, dealing with the same issues again and again. It feels like you're just fighting fires all day long, but you never get a chance to figure out what's starting them.
Well, to help us break out of that loop, we're going to use this really powerful idea, the iceberg model. It's a classic tool from systems thinking, and the whole point is that the problem you see right in front of you, that's just the tip. The real stuff, the things that are actually causing the problem, are hitting way down below the surface.
Yeah, it suggests that only about 10% of what's really going on is visible to us. That other 90%, the patterns, the structures, the core beliefs that are holding the problem in place, it's all underwater, totally out of sight. So if we want to have a real deep conversation, we've got to put on our scuba gear and go exploring.
All right, let's take that first step just below the waterline. We're going to stop looking at a problem like it's a one-time thing. Instead, we're going to start looking for patterns. We're going to start asking, hey, has this or something like it happened before? And a fantastic tool to help us do that is called action research. Now, the magic of this tool is that it's all about collaboration. This isn't some outside expert coming in and telling you what you're doing wrong. No, this is about getting everyone who's involved in the problem into a room to figure it out together. You diagnose it as a team, and you uncover those patterns through your shared experience. And you can see how it works right here. It's a cycle, right? You don't just do it once. You diagnose what's going on, you come up with a plan, you try something out, and then, and this is the most important part, you stop and you evaluate. You reflect. It's this constant loop of learning and tweaking, which is just perfect for getting a handle on those messy, repeating problems. Now, here's another great way to spot patterns: the theory of constraints. The idea here is actually really simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. It says that in any system, any team, any company, any process, there's always one thing that's holding it back. Just one. It's a bottleneck. And if you want to make the whole system better, you have to focus all your energy on that one single spot. So how do you do it? Well, there are 5 steps. First, you've got to find that bottleneck. Then you exploit it, which is just a fancy way of saying you squeeze every last drop of performance out of it as it is. After that, you subordinate everything else to it. You make sure the entire system is set up to support that one constraint. If you still need more, you elevate it. Maybe you buy a new machine or hire more people. And once you've broken that bottleneck, you start the cycle all over again, because a new constraint will always pop up somewhere else. It's all about focusing on the weakest link. Okay, so now we're starting to see the patterns. We're below the surface. But now we have to go even deeper. Let's head down to the next level of the iceberg, where we can actually start to map out the invisible structures that are creating those patterns in the first place. We're about to look at the engine under the hood. Our first tool for mapping is the causal loop diagram. Just think of it like a blueprint of your problem. You're not using numbers here, you're just using arrows to show how different things are connected. It helps you see the feedback loops that are really driving what's happening. You're literally making the invisible connections visible. So here's how it all fits together. You have your variables, the key things in your system. Then you draw links between them to show cause and effect. A little plus sign means they move in the same direction. More rain leads to more puddles. A minus sign means they move in opposite directions. So more exercise leads to less weight. When you put them all together, they form these feedback loops that tell the real story of what your system is actually doing. Now for our second mapping tool, the stock and flow diagram. Look, if causal loops are the blueprint, you can think of this as the physics simulation. It's a way to show how stuff, we call it a stock, fills up or drains out over time. The easiest way to think about it is a bathtub. The amount of water in the tub, that's your stock. The faucet is the inflow and the drain is the outflow. Simple as that. Let's make this super concrete with a few quick examples. If you're running a business, your inventory is a stock. The inflow is all the stuff your factory is producing. And the outflow is everything you sell. It's the same exact logic for your bank account, right? The balance is the stock, your paycheck is the inflow, and all your bills are the outflow. See, it's a really powerful way to see how things change. And you can apply this model to pretty much anything. For a school, the total number of students enrolled is a stock. The inflow is new admissions every year, and the outflow is all the students who graduate. But what's really cool is you can even use it for abstract things. Think about this.
The knowledge in your head is a stock. Learning is the inflow, and, well, forgetting is the outflow. So if you want to get smarter, your rate of learning has to be faster than your rate of forgetting.
So we've looked at a few different tools for digging deeper, from action research to stock and flow diagrams. But here's a really important thing to keep in mind. You can't just use any tool for any job. We can basically split them into two big categories: soft tools and hard tools. Okay, so on one side you have the soft tools, like action research. These are all about people, understanding behavior, team dynamics, company culture. They're qualitative, and you need really strong communication skills to use them well. Then on the other side, you've got the hard tools, like systems dynamics, which is what uses stock and flow diagrams. These are all about the numbers. They're quantitative, analytical, and you need some technical chops to build the models. So the key is to ask yourself, is the root of my problem more about people, or is it more about physics?
All right, we've made the journey. We've gone from the events on the surface, down through the patterns, and into the structures that create them. Now it's time for our final and deepest dive, all the way to the very bottom of the iceberg. Because this is where the real game-changing stuff happens. See, this bottom layer, this is all about our mental models. It's the collection of our deepest beliefs, our assumptions, the values that we hold that shape our entire view of the world. These models are what build the structures, which drive the patterns, which cause the events that we see every day. If you really want to solve a problem for good, you have to get down to this level. And this quote from the research really nails it. When you can truly examine those deep connections, the structures and the mental models holding them up, that is when you gain real insight. That's the difference between just reacting to things as they happen and actually being able to shape what happens next. So I'm going to leave you with a question to start your own deep dive. Think about the biggest, most annoying, most persistent problem in your life or your work. And using this iceberg as a guide, ask yourself, what unseen structure, what deep-seated belief might be the thing that's holding that entire problem in place? Start your conversation there. Thanks for joining me.